Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. In this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into Operation Odessa. This was a battle during the One-Year War that you could see during Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm going to dive into the different mobile suits that were being used, some events that took place, but pretty cool stuff and lore that comes out of this. And big thanks to Talos Mobius for helping me do the research on this. But before we get started, if you haven't, please subscribe. If you think it's a cool video, give it a like, check the links in the description for ways you can support the channel, or check out our Discord. We have a lot of fun there. But let's get started. All right, and so Operation Odessa is a battle that took place during November of 0079. I have more specific dates coming up shortly. But this was a pivotal battle that was between the Earth Federation forces and the Principality of Zeon. Now, my favorite part of anything Gundam happens to do with the mobile suit, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way. When it comes to the Earth Federation forces, they had the RGM-79GM Type B on the ground, as well as the ground GM, the RTX-440 Ground Assault Type Gun Tank, the RX-78-2 Gundam, the RX-75 Gun Tank, the RX-77-2 Gun Cannon, the FFX-7 BST Core Booster, the Big Tray Class Landship, Heavy Fort Class Landship, Pegasus Class Assault Carrier, Type 61 Battle Tank. And move on to Principality of Zeon, MS-06J Zaku 2, MS-06F Zaku 2, MS-07 Goof, MS-09 Dom, Dob Day Class Landship, Gallop Class Landship, Jukon Class Submarine, PVN 43 Wappa. Wow, that last one, I don't know about that. Let's look at that real quick. So that's the name of that thing, huh? Yeah, straight out of the 70s. All right, before the battle itself, a prelude to Operation Odessa, the Battle of Odessa was the bloodiest conflict on Earth. A desert for its battlefield, Odessa was the perfect place to stop the Zeonic advance on Earth. At the command of the whole operation was General Johann Abraham Revel, a man who had become an admired commander amongst the ground and space forces of the Federation. Operation Odessa was to counter the up until that point successful first landing operation the Principality of Zeon had set in motion, having lost a majority of its fleet during the Battle of Loom. The Earth Federation space forces lacked the manpower and ships to counter the invading forces of the Principality of Zeon, which allowed them to capture, through mobile suit superiority, a large region of Europe, with their aim being Odessa, Earth's largest industrial zone during the One-Year War, and secure their chance for the second landing operation just 10 days later. So this was a big operation the Principality of Zeon had to enact in order to get their troops and all their weapons and everything on the ground on Earth. The first one took place March 1st, 0079, and that second one that was mentioned was March 11th, 0079. So it was waves of forces of the Principality of Zeon to land on Earth to, try to take over. After the death of Garma Zombie, the Federation found the opening it was looking for with the morale of the Zeon troops low, and the first mobile suits the Federation developed reaching mass production. The time for a counteroffensive was at hand. The preparations for such a large-scale operation took almost a month, starting on the 10th of October, the time that I'm recording this. The staging of the counteroffensive began, led by General Revel. The Earth Federation Third Army departed from the Southampton base in England and started heading towards Warsaw. At the same time, forces staged in Tripoli, Genoa, Leipzig, Stockholm, and Hanover advanced towards Warsaw. 2 days later, on October 12th, two naval Federation fleets primarily composed of Himalaya-class carriers and Alberta-class missile cruisers began moving south in a hunt for Zeon's submarine fleets. Already alerted of the approaching fleet, the Federation forces raced to the rendezvous point as quickly as possible, leaving behind any malfunctioning units and vehicles. On the 20th of October, the Federation forces arrived at Warsaw and deployed a field headquarters in the city. Just 5 days later, the preparations were finally complete. Multiple units are sent out to different locations to distract Zeon forces and keep them unwise to the threat of Operation Odessa. November 2nd, reinforcements arrived at Warsaw, mainly consisting of air forces. At the same time, General Revel sends an order to the 13th Autonomous Corps to join the operation by crossing the Caspian Sea in 5 days in preparation for the Battle of Odessa. General Elran, a Federation officer, expressed his dislike towards Revel's reliance on the White Base Corps, yet Revel believed in the strength of the famous New Type Corps. This would later come as proof of General Elran colluding with Colonel Makuve of the Principality of Zeon as he wished to prolong the war, may it be for the victory of Zeon or being yet another Federation official that was enjoying the pay raise thanks to the war. Okay, so for the day of the battle itself, The preparations as of November 7th were ready, and by sunrise, the sound of well over 25,000 artillery guns and 5,000 missiles and rocket launchers, Operation Odessa rang its opening hours. All Federation forces began their assault at once. The 4th Army's Mechanized Division of Type 61 battle tanks attacked from the north. The 2nd and 7th Army attacked from the northwest, and General Revel's 3rd Army attacked from the west. Thanks to the good weather, air superiority forces were deployed, allowing almost 5,000 aerial units to take part in this grand-scale operation from field bases in Kiev, Sofia, and Istanbul. Across the Black Sea, Federation forces also provided further ballistic artillery barrage to increase the pressure on Odessa. During the first day of battle, the Federation forces deployed over 30 early models of the RGM-79G GM ground type. So GM, but the ground type, over 30 early models, okay, to the front lines. And in the rear guard, about 30 experimental RGM-79 GM Type Bs were deployed. They were the GM types of dual beam saber racks and the data from the Gundam, allowing them to perform better than other units on the field, yet due to maintenance issues, the GMs never saw main combat, unlike the ground types. So very interesting lore, detail, and background on this GM Type B. And from a picture here, we can see an early GM Type B, Verka, on the left, which looks fantastic. I love this design type, kind of the scale between the legs, the torso, real type markings, love it. And the RGM-79G GM ground types advancing to the front line of Odessa, which I could be mistaken, but that might be right out of MS Igloo. So not only do we see the Battle of Odessa from Mobile Suit Gundam series, but also in MS Igloo. Zeon managed to capture pictures of these mobile suits, revealing the secret to them all, and yet it was all for naught, as the newly deployed GM types were still a great threat to Zeon's army, even with the vast 100, 1,000, and then some mobile suits consisting of MS-06J Zaku 2s and a rare few MS-07 Goofs on the field. Zeon's first line of defense broke by early afternoon. Even with Makuve's threat to break the Antarctic Treaty by using a nuclear bomb, the Federation Army did not stop its advance. On the night of the 7th, the White Base was attacked by 3 Zeon Aces, the Black Tri-Stars, piloting 3 MS-09 Doms while being resupplied by Matilda and her unit. With the sacrifice of the Medea and Matilda, the RX-78-2, alongside a core booster, was able to take down the Black Tri-Stars, striking another major blow in the morale of Zeon forces. The next day began the Battle of Hill 144. The 44th Composite Brigade of the Federation, one of the few formations with mobile suits, launched an attack on Hill 144 but suffered numerous casualties due to a Dobde-class land battleship's presence. On November 9th, with the help of the 4th Land Battleship Strike Force and the arrival of the Penal Squad Trio using the RTX 440 ground assault type gun tank, the brigade launched a general counteroffensive once again. During this battle, the Federation lost all of its deployed GM ground types to a booby-trapped trench, but the assault gun tanks broke through the enemy line, destroying multiple vehicles and mobile suits in the rush towards the Dobde. A second Dobde class appeared on the field, and the 3 gun tanks were wiped out, taking the first Dobde with them. Late morning of the same day, the Federation's 4th Army broke through past the encirclement without meeting any significant resistance by Zeon forces, causing the rest of the Federation forces to resume their offensive, the 3rd Army reaching Chisinau by noon. Early evening, Makuve and his high-ranking officers escaped to space aboard a Zanzibar-class cruiser, leaving behind the rest of the Zeon Army. And real quick, because I hadn't heard of this place before doing this video, Chisinau is the most economically prosperous locality in Moldova. Okay, so geography lesson today. By the 10th of November, UC 0079 at 1400 hours, the Federation finished its mop-up operations and switched from combat readiness to alarm readiness, signifying the end of Operation Odessa. Well, there you have it, a crash course into Operation Odessa, the pivotal battle of Mobile Suit Gundam, which you can see in the show. You can see in the trilogy compilation movies, and MS Igloo, probably featured in video games as well, side stories, etc., etc. But very cool stuff, because I think it's just one of those pivotal, awesome Gundam battles for people that are into the lore and the mobile suits, especially when that's a time that the GM was put into combat, specifically the ground GM. And what's been added later, there was a Type B that looks awesome. It has dual beam sabers on a GM. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, I thought this was a cool battle to talk through the mobile suits, the weapons that were used, how pivotal it was to that time during that Mobile Suit Gundam story, and the 13th Autonomous Corps being that white base crew, or the new type crew, that made it for a really compelling and awesome battle to go through. And again, I want to give a shout out to Talos Mobius helping me research this, helping me find some of the more obscure lore within the battle. But let me know what you think. Any other obscure facts or details about Odessa, you throw them down in the comments or our lore channel at Discord. And this will be something I'll be doing more frequently, is diving into the different battles, offensives, pivotal moments where the thing I like about Gundam, the mobile suits, were really put to use. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk later.